Hey, what's up everybody? Nitreg here from nitreg.com, and today is day 3 of the 31-day poker challenge. And today we're going to be talking about software. What type of software will help you get to that next level. Some of these are basic, pretty standard. Probably assume that I'm going to say them, and some of them are kind of interesting, and you may not have heard of these software tools. So before we begin, just to remind you, software is just tools. They're nothing special. Like, you're not gonna just magically become a winning player because you have specific types of software or anything. So just know that right off the bat. All the software that I recommend I've used before, and that's why I'm recommending it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and begin. The first type of software that you're gonna want if you're gonna take poker seriously is a HUD. Even if you're a recreational player, you pretty much need a HUD. It's almost impossible to play online poker without a HUD. The reason why online poker needs a HUD is because, if you're playing live, you're playing 30 hands an hour, and you're sitting at a table and you're watching everyone, and you can kind of take little mental notes of people in your head. Well, when you're playing online, you're playing like 4+ tables, and you can't really see their faces. You just see little screen names, and it's hard to remember who's who. There's like hundreds of players, and you play hundreds of hands an hour, so it gets really hard. You can't keep track of all this stuff in your head, so you really just need a HUD to remind you, how people play and their tendencies. As you can see on this screen, I'm just playing right now just to have something visually distracting while I talk. But as you can see, there's a HUD going. This is Holdem Manager 2, by the way. It shows you all these different stats. These little numbers mean something, and it shows you who won the last pot and everything like that. You can adjust all these to your liking, and I can do a video on that in the future. But it also records every single hand that you play and stores it in a giant database. So that's so important, because when you want to study poker, it's hard to just think about abstract theories and concepts. It's so much better to just go into Holdem Manager and check specific hands that you play or specific situations, and you can do filters on your database. So you can say, well, how about every single time I bet the flop and then get check raised the turn? What type of, or how do I play those hands, and what type of ranges do my opponents come up with, and different little things like that. You can check all that stuff out with a HUD, or with Holdem Manager, which includes a HUD. So yeah, it's so vital for not only playing but also learning at the same time. And you can also kind of get a little bit of a insider information on your opponents too. Like if a specific opponent is giving you a really hard time, you could search for them on Holdem Manager 2. You can check all the hands you played against them, and you can kind of really start to dive into their game and see where they go wrong in their game, and then you can start exploiting that. So it'll give you the upper hand for sure, and it's definitely a tool that live players don't have, and you should totally utilize it. The type of HUD that I recommend the most is Holdem Manager 2. It is by far the best. It's got every single feature that you can possibly imagine. My original HUD that I loved was Holdem Manager 1, and then Holdem Manager 2 came out, and I think it's a pretty solid upgrade. I would strongly consider buying it if you just have Holdem Manager 1 right now. It took about a week, because I really loved Holdem Manager 1, so it took about a week for me to think that Holdem Manager 2 is better. In the meantime, I was like, well, Holdem Manager 1, I'm still used to it. But after a while, I got used to Holdem Manager 2 more, and Holdem Manager 2 is just so good in so many ways. The one bad thing, though, is that I don't think you can use Holdem Manager 2 on a Mac just yet. So for a Mac, you're going to have to use Poker Tracker 4, unfortunately. Here's Holdem Manager 2 really quickly. I'll just put it on the screen. This is just the basic window, and it'll show you all sorts of stats on people. There's all these little tabs and everything. This isn't a Holdem Manager tutorial, so I'm not going to really go over that right now. But it just kind of give you an idea of the look of the software. Sorry that the window's a little small, so it's kind of hard to see. But the Poker Tracker 2, or sorry, Poker Tracker 4 is going to look somewhat similar. I mean, it's a similar type of program. It's just, in my opinion, it's not as good. Everything that you're going to want is in Poker Tracker 4. It's just my personal preference for the layout isn't very good. And you know, I don't really like it that much in terms of like where everything's laid out. I'm not used to it. But then when you get to more advanced stuff, it seems like Holdem Manager 2 just has all those things and more reports and tabs, filters, and they also have apps as well, so you can go ahead and do some other things inside of Holdem Manager 2 that you can't with Poker Tracker 3. So I'm sorry, Poker Tracker 4. Sorry, there's been like 2 or 3 different poker trackers since I've been playing poker. So Poker Tracker 4. You know, it's a cooler situation. Hopefully I hit a 7. It's just one of those things where Holdem Manager 2 is absolutely necessary, and if you can't get Holdem Manager 2 on your system, then get Poker Tracker 4. To get Holdem Manager 2, just go to knitrig.com/hem2, and you'll get a free trial for it. And I believe the free trial is for a month, maybe 2 months. I can't remember. But it's at least a month, and then after that you'd have to pay the full price for the small stakes version, which is $59.99. And then Poker Tracker 4 is knitrig.com/pt4, and that's for all you Mac users or people that just prefer Poker Tracker in general. I don't know why you would, but that's just my opinion. But you can go there and you can get a free trial as well, and I think that's also a month. And you know, it costs about the same, so no big differences there. So anyway, the next type of software you're gonna want to get is a software called PokerStove, and here's what PokerStove looks like. PokerStove is a free software application, so you can open it up on Macs and PCs, I believe. If you can't open it in Mac, you probably have like those reverse compatibility, or not reverse compatibility, you know, those types of softwares that allow you to run executable files and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't have a Mac, but I have students that have Macs and they run this. But anyway, PokerStove allows you to calculate all-in equity, and it's very useful. It's very useful for understanding like what type of equity your hand has and stuff like that. Different situations. So, for instance, you can go in here and say that you have, I don't know, some specific hand, like this hand, or I don't know. Let's just say you have Queen Jack, and then you can give your opponent, you know, specific ranges, like you want to have these hands, and then make sure that's these suits, and then you can go ahead and set a board to whatever you want, and click evaluate, and it'll come up with an evaluation. This just came up with an error because I put in some of the same cards, so let me go ahead and fix that real quick. There we go. So you can come up with any combinations of boards and hands that you want, and as many players as you want, and it'll show you the equity for everyone, and you can go ahead and play around with it. It's very, very good for knowing all-in equity, just kind of overall knowing what type of equity your hands will have against other hands and on different boards. So it's very important for studying. Obviously, you're not going to use this while playing. It's primarily just so you can study off the tables. So I highly, highly, highly recommend you downloading PokerStove, and it's for free. All you have to do is just go to knitrig.com/PokerStove, and you can go ahead and download that there. The next program is Table Ninja. Table Ninja is it's an app of Holdem Manager 2. It used to be its own independent software. It might still be, but it's a part of Holdem Manager 2 now. I think Holdem Manager 2 either bought them out or runs their services through them or something like that. But Table Ninja is absolutely vital if you're a multi-tabler. So if you're playing on PokerStars, for instance, and you run 24 tables, you are gonna really want Table Ninja. What it does is it allows you to auto rebuy, auto add in. It automatically sits you in. So if you sit out, it sits you back in. That's good, you know, if you time out or something. It'll automatically time bank for you, which is really nice. It'll also automatically size your bets, which is really nice. And you know, you can set hotkeys to it, so you can set up different hotkeys to fold or call or raise, and that becomes very useful. So if you're playing 24 tables, it's all about how much time you give yourself. Let's see with this guy. Sure, why not? Let's set mine. Excuse me. So it's all about how much time you give yourself when you're 24 tabling. So let's say you have pocket aces under the gun, and you have to go ahead and click twice to go ahead and raise it up to 3 big blinds, and then you have to go ahead and click the raise button. Well, right there you've clicked 3 different times just to do one action, whereas Table Ninja will go ahead and automatically set the raise to 3 big blinds, and then you just press raise, or you can press the hotkey on your keyboard, and you don't have to click anything at all. And so it really saves the amount of time that you're playing. It doesn't sound like much, but if you've ever 24 tabled, you'll know how often it just takes to do anything at 24. With 24 tables, you're just clicking constantly and, you know, going from screen to screen. So literally, if you took that 3 clicks and turned it into 1 click, it's like a third of the clicks. So imagine 24 tabling, but spending a third of the time. It allows you to multi-table so much easier. It doesn't seem like much, but it really is. So I would go ahead and try that out. They might actually have a free trial for that as well, so you might want to check that out. The link for that is nitreg.com/tableninja. Highly recommend it. I've used it for both Full Tilt and Poker Stars, and I believe they also excuse me. I believe they also have it for some other sites too, but Poker Stars and Full Tilt definitely mandatory for multi-tablers. Anything above 12 tables, I would say, is close to mandatory. Excuse me. It's a little bit sick, so I apologize. My voice is going. So the last program that I want to talk about is just the basic calculator. Here it is. It comes with every single system, and it's one of the tools that I use the most, other than, you know, Holdem Manager. It's so useful for just doing basic calculations and, you know, trying to figure out stuff. So let's say I'm playing in this 4NL game, and I want to figure out, you know, how often someone has to fold for my bluff to work or something like that. All you have to do is just go ahead and type it in. You know, I'll say, well, I want to bet 16 cents to win 32 cents or whatever. So 0.16 divided by, then 16 plus 32 is 48. So divided by 0.48, and then they have to fold a third of the time for it to be profitable. Third of the time or more. So, you know, it's just little things like that. You know, you want to have to add it up real quick. Some numbers, especially at sites like this, where they have like 4NL, or if they have like 16NL, or, you know, it's 20NL, you know, sometimes it gets a little difficult. So, calculator is very important, but everyone has that. So, just use it more, especially when you're studying. So, anyway, thanks guys, and you know, we'll have some more videos tomorrow, and see you guys next time. Peace.